The only way to beat Jacob is just, I think I'll show you a quick movie, right? So I'll start with that.
What? My name is Dane. Oh, I'm sorry. What can I do for you? I'm heading the design team that's building the enclosure for the box. It's time for the concept meeting. Concept meeting. Okay. I'm just going to show you a few pictures, and you tell me which ones you like, okay? Okay, sure. Wait, hold on. I thought you were going to show me pictures of boxes, like data storage devices. Before I can actualize a box, you and I need to develop a shared aesthetic vocabulary. Otherwise, I have no idea what we're going to want. I have a lot of work to do right now. This is work. This is my work. What we're doing here can actually save time. Okay, sure. Yeah. Let's just make this simple. If the box were an animal, what sort of animal would it be? Leopard? Butterfly? Rhinoceros? Stop, an animal. It's a box, right? Okay, so if you need an animal, make it a box turtle. How does that sound? So this is all kind of a joke to you. You know what? I don't really give a flying fuck what this box looks like. Okay, if it was up to me, I wouldn't even have it in the first place. So look, here. This is a flat rectangle. Make it that, all right? Because we're going to take it and put it in a hole in a sub-basement in a data center where no one can see it except for a sad man named John with a ponytail. Okay? Just make it a box. And please turn off that fucking music.
Yeah, how do I continue from here, right? First of all, it sounds familiar for, I believe, most of you, right? This is usually what happens when a CEO or an engineer is invited to a creative meeting. Usually the jargon or terminology doesn't sound right, and I can tell you that it's also vice versa. When you bring in a designer to a meeting with an engineer, this is always what happens. But look what happened a few days afterwards.
Hey, Richard, do you have a sec? I have a preliminary render for you. What is that? What do you mean? It's a box. That's not our box, is it? Yes, it's exactly what you asked me for. You drew a rectangle and said if it was an animal, it'd be a box turtle. I mean, are you just going to do the bare minimum and call it a day? I mean, is that like what you do? You said it didn't matter. You said you didn't care. No one's caring about this. I'm just saying, like, it's just a matter of pride and, like, self-respect. I mean, that's going to go in brochures, man. It's like an advertisement to you and the company and everything. I could maybe add some color to it and give the bezel a little slam. There you go. Definitely slam. Slam it. Yeah, maybe add some more lights. Sure, yeah. Well, hey, what are you doing standing around here talking about it? You should go do it, you know? Go ahead and make the damn thing. Make it a Jaguar, because I have a feeling this baby is going to purr.
I don't care either, but, I think maybe a gazelle is more like it, because it's synonymous with speed.
Fuck that. Cheetah's faster, and it kills fucking gazelles. But I really don't fucking care. But definitely cheetah.
Oh, gazelle. Also, don't throw away the whole Jaguar thing, because they're pretty quick, too.
Make it a cheetah. I think it would be a good title for my presentation, actually, when I think about it. How do we make a cheetah? But anyway, out of the box is also. Yeah, but what I wanted to say here is, again, bring design to front, because everybody's talking now about design, but I think it's either they're misusing the term or even misusing designers in their probably startups or where they're using them. So what I'm trying to do here is make design great again. Probably looks familiar, right? And I think I'm going to walk you through some of my experiences, the things that I've done during the years, and I will talk a little bit about it. I only have 15 minutes because I wasted almost 4 minutes with Silicon Valley. But anyway, I have 15 minutes just to show you around, and I hope it will make a little bit sense to you. I believe everybody here knows these guys, right? Steve Jobs? No, I'm just checking attention, right? So this guy is Steven Spielberg. He was nominated for Oscar for Academy Award for almost 7 times. You know how many times he won? 3 wins. And I believe none of you knows these guys, right? This guy is Michael Kahn. Also was nominated for 8 Oscars, and how many he got? 3 wins, sorry. And you know who is this guy? He's the editor of all the movies of Steven Spielberg. So without this guy, probably you won't get it. So if I will compare it to what we know about CEOs or product managers or about UXs, so maybe the definition would be like this. This is the one that takes all the waste outside, right? He deciding what goes in and what goes out. So the other one is he has the vision. This one is actually creating the work. And if we're already in trivia and Oscar awards, I believe nobody knows that. I can bet on that, right? I can give you a hint. He's a designer. No, almost. But this one was nominated for 28 times and won 11. He's the second ranked. The first one is Walt Disney. Of course, somebody mentioned that. Walt Disney was also an artist and designer. So probably it says something, right? Designers and art directors. He's actually the one that put everything into the scene, right? So somebody has the vision and they create the form, encapsulate everything. So create visual and create and make it tangible so we can experience that a little bit differently. So it makes it more accessible. So I'm a designer, almost that old as this guy before the black and white. I'm practicing design for formally almost 20 years. I'm in that industry for really a long time, and I'm working with hundreds of products, I must say. I can say Waze as well, right? Everybody was saying Waze. So I was responsible for the first version of the Waze interface. So if you want to blame somebody, so this is me. Anyway, but along the way, what I've managed, again, more responsibility because there were none. I started as a designer, and then I made company, and they told me that design is shitty. But I said, before we even talk about design, you have no product. So I was a product, and I was a UX, and I was a UI, and whatever. And I started telling stories and everything. So I found myself, getting more experience and responsibilities during that loop. And really, for me, everything is conveyed, and still, it's all about visual design for me. So every aspect is about visual design. And I told you, I'm formally designer for 20 years, but I think it goes way back. The 80s, if somebody knows that, this is Atari. I used to play that game, and for me, this really small pixel and four colors was an awesome experience. I used my imagination here. I played hours, with my brothers, and we were playing all around. You can hear the sound. That was the sound. It sounded awesome. For me, it was Madison Square Garden, by the way. So I used my imagination. I told myself a story all the time, where I am. I was never in front of my computer. I was somewhere else, playing with my brother, trying to beat him. Every time there was a blank, the pixel goes to the basket, right? So that was it. Nothing here. 4 colors and a pixel. And that was a totally different world. And this is usually how we act, right? We try to give ourselves reason every time. We see that. We don't see stains on a white paper. We try to see images. We try to see stories. Everybody sees something else. It's spooky. I don't know. Everybody can look differently, but we tell ourselves stories. The same as in this. Of course, Gestalt. We know that. We don't see circles. We see Pac-Mans trying to eat a triangle. We try to, every time, to tell ourselves a story, and it's important to think, because this is where design comes up handy. And if you try to understand the verb, what design is all about, and we go to the 16th century. So the idea here is about driving attention, putting things in front. This is the idea, to make things in focus, trying to differentiate things, make objects stand out. So this is the idea behind design. And even if you break it down to 2 words, so it's about deconstruction and reconstruction. It's about taking objects and symbolizing it, making it an abstract shape, creating a visual language. So this is the purpose of design, as we started with. And what are the tools of a designer? Usually when a designer, you're meeting somebody, you expect nothing less than that. If somebody is telling you that he's not experienced with something, so probably we have a problem with it. Because it needs to deal with space, time, color, shape, sounds, relationship between shapes, between everything that goes around on the composition. It's about movement, understanding topography, understanding to tell a story, how to tell a story with one image, of course. Metaphors, how do we use it, and how do we use metaphors and convey a better story using that? How to create this harmony, something that needs experience, right? It's something that comes within. It's hard to explain what harmony is, but experienced designer can do that. And of course, I think another significant skill that designer needs to have is working very delicately between familiarity and novelty. Because people don't like something when it's too new, or they don't know what to do with it. They need something that they can react to, and then it gives them some kind of a new delight to start playing with it. So this is important. We don't want to do stuff that nobody will like, right? let's start with this one. We started that at the beginning, but let's start with this one. I think this is a great story. Apropos, we're talking about symbols, we're talking about objects, about shapes. This is a really great story. It's about a man that has huge airplanes, gold toilets in his house. You never go to toilet if it's not wrapped with gold, right? He wears $10,000 suits and still wear a $5 cap. And he's wearing that all the time. Maybe it's a fluke, I don't know, but it seems like he's the one who was responsible for the design, right? He opened Microsoft Office or Word, find the first type that he can find, the first font. It's a debate if it's Times New Roman or whatever, something like that. And then he put it on. And when you see that, you think about, okay, he's probably can do everything, right? He's Superman. He's also a designer. So this is it. This is a symbol, right? And if we go here to Tinder, look at that. It's one pager, one image. And there's a message that says, meet interesting people nearby. Really? That's interesting. This is what you talk about relationship? Of course, it talks about a really short-term relationship. Of course, this is kind of relationship. But when you go to Tinder, see, it's a story around here, right? It's morning, they have a really great night. I don't know what they did before. Maybe I can imagine. But she's wearing something. She's not feeling she's probably a little embarrassed, but there's a big story behind it. So it's about relationship, but a different kind of relationship. And when you see that, it's totally different, right? The first page, you need to start filling forms. You see pictures of regular people. You need to start working in order to get into relationship, right? You need to really invest a lot of time in that. So this is two different networks of dating and relationship, but they act totally different. And the impression that you get is totally different just by the front page. I want to share with you some of my work with a company, with a startup called Goodwall. They are located in Europe. Very amazing one, very young, and I'm fortunate to work with them. Goodwall is focusing on teenagers around 16 to 19. And the idea is to give them platforms so they can showcase their activity, the quality activity, the daily activity, to show the qualities, to make them stand out and get rewards for that. And when we say rewards, it's about scholarship, it's about helping them plan their academic career for next year. So it's a platform, it's a community for them. And they all joined that. And I joined them when it was a really nice utility, when people actually entered the platform, the community. It wasn't even community, but they go there, looked for a university, and then went back. So it was really, really nice, but the retention was pretty lousy. So first of all, what we did, of course, we went around to see what people at the same age are using. And of course, it's very common, Musical.ly, Snapchat, Instagram, everything convey different message, and this is the tools they are using. And we try to focus and say to ourselves, okay, we're not there. What is the other way around? Because we're talking about different people who don't care about selfie, they care about the things that they are doing in life. And we also knew that we want a mascot. We want something that we can relate to, something that would be the face of this community. We knew it's going to be a community, and we need a face, like Facebook face is Mark Zuckerberg. I don't know. Mailchimp, for instance, did a really great disrupt when they come up with this really cute monkey, cute chimp mailman, and they really did 180% degrees to the other way around, because they create a face. And people looked at that. It's not a boring direct mail system. It's a really, really neat one. It's a very, very cool one. Of course, the website looked like this. Nothing that was definitely a big change from what it was before. And anyway, we decided we want to go that path. We try to find, what the community really represents, what we're trying to look for. And we explore the penguins community, for instance. I think that it makes a lot of sense for us. Because everybody is very communal. Everybody wants to be together. They need a community. Anyway, so we took penguins. They represent what we're trying to say. And we created this nice mascot. It's called, we gave him a name. It was Alex. Alex was your assistant. He walked you through. He was the one that welcomed you when you entered the platform. And he represented Goodwall. And also we created Daria. Daria, on the other hand, was the user. She's very smart. She knows what she wants. She's motivated. She doesn't care about bullshit. She knows where she's going to reach the moon. And this was Daria. And the other way we were thinking about it's an exploration, a self-exploration, and also you explore your way. It's a progress. When you get into the community, you progress, you gain more activity. So it's like scouting. So we interviewed a lot of Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts to see what it represents, what it means for them. And of course, all the symbols that you can find over there. So we try to use our own system and created badges. And even Alex is growing up with you as you go along. I mean, it's a level-based system. So every time you go, so you're a newcomer, and Alex is like a Tamagotchi, walks with you all the way until you reach the top. And we created these badges when you go along and you get rewards, so you get these badges. And we even created that in the community. So it's not a regular community, as you can see. It's about content, but we are wrapping that, so it's very prominent. And we also use envelope. It's kind of funny. But what we decided we want to do is combine offline and online. So our students, a very good one, a very good users, what we call it a very active users, are going to get by mail an envelope with all the badges and all the tags and all the pins. So they're expecting that. They're going to getting some prizes. And we are really part of the daily life. This is, you can see, part of the system. So we combine everything we learn just to create this scouting platform. And of course, we use at the beginning a lot of illustrations, and we send them all kind of giveaways when they're becoming and ambassadors and becoming a very influencers, a very highly influencer in our system. So we created a lot of features just to help them feel good about themselves, right? And if we're talking about exploration and expedition, so they had a campus, they knew where they're heading, and we combined all kind of stuff. But one of the things that I want to say is, as the same as MVP features and product that you're using and we are adjusting, the brand is also adjustable. It's not a stable brand anymore. So we're listening to them. We create word tags. We listen to their sentiment. We are talking to them through chats and messages. We are listening to their reviews, and we take the words and try to see what the community actually represent for them, to see if our mission is really going over there. So we're always adjusting. At the beginning, we had these colors, these two, this purple and orange, and we changed it to a much more subtle kind of palette. We used a more mature palette. We changed the illustration into images, and we decided that our heroes are the actual users. We took the permission to use their images, so they are the big ambassadors that we have right now. No more circles. We give them almost half of the page, so you can present yourself, you can talk. It's a video based, so they're talking, they are really connecting with each other because it's about you, it's about what you do. It's really helpful. So it's not a small circle. Bend the circles, really. Just give it more space, and they really like it. And everything we do is working along with our community, because they're sharing videos, they're uploading video to YouTube, so we decided instead of YouTube, let's bring it back into the system. So this is what happens. And we get a lot of good reaction, and this is one of the startups I must say that I'm amazed by really the engagement and the attraction that this platform is giving them for the users. We see tons of videos on YouTube that people are talking about without even, us controlling that. So it's really unique to be part of that. We have almost 10,000 ambassadors, which are volunteer within the system to spread the rumor and spread everything about Goodwill. And I can show you just one last thing. This is a video that somebody just uploaded.
My name's Michelle Neitzel. It's got my ambassador kit. It's about to open it. I want to ruin it. Never mind. Okay, so I got a certificate. That's awesome. Some stickers. I love stickers. Okay, I'm going to share a photo of my kid on Instagram. I'm going to do that. Dear Ambassador, congratulations on passing your trial. You're now a Goodwill Ambassador.
So this is the last thing that I want to ask you. You see all the companies, you probably know most of them, but what's the common thing that all these companies has in common? What's the first one? Besides that every one of them worth around $1 billion, I will cut the chase. Every one of them has at least one designer as a founder. So again, wrapping everything together. So what are you waiting for? Go get an art director. Thank you very much.